first episode, we're gonna get canceled by the Brits. Can I say that? Can I say that?
Get canceled by the Brits. Oh my god. Okay. Hi everybody, and welcome in to the Professional Procrastinators Podcast, aka P3 if you want to be like super cool about it. And this is going to be our podcast where we are talking about all things from college and life and history, and we're going to delve into some other niche interests as time goes on. We are your hosts.
I'm Isabella.
And I'm Avery. And we are going to be diving into our two main series that you are going to be seeing on the podcast. So for this welcome episode, you're going to get a shortened little cut from both series to kind of see what you're in for.
I think you guys should know that we made this up at midnight on a random... We had the birthday of this idea. It was like a random Wednesday.
Yeah, a random Wednesday
I think it was
in March.
a Wednesday. We were procrastinating, as the name suggests.
Right, that's where that comes from. And we're also recording pretty close to midnight. So, if you can't tell, we also procrastinated on recording. So, yeah, we're really sticking to this theme. But we're going to get into our own little series. And we didn't really discuss. Do you want to start?
You want me to start?
Yeah.
You want to start?
Up to you.
Okay. Okay. I'll start because mine is more of like a general thing. Like yours is more focused, you know? So my section is the autopsy of an academic weapon, and we're basically going to be talking all things college, all things like, you know, major choices, procrastination, as we all know. Any advice, living situations, the burnout discussion, that's a future topic that we're going to be talking about.
That's going to be an episode of its own.
Oh, yeah. We have both experienced burnout and amongst other things with academia. So we're going to talk about that. Today we're going to start with major choices. It's scary choosing your entire life at the age of 18. But basically it's not as crazy as you think. I wanted to kind of like see like our own thought processes, like how we picked our majors, and I'll start because mine's kind of quick. I picked forensic science because in high school I took a forensic science class and I was like, oh my gosh, Sherlock, detectives, that's so cool. And then I went to college and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of labs and science, and I love science, but I didn't really want to do that for the rest of my life. So I switched to criminal justice because that's more like investigating and helping, and I really like helping people. So I really like them to like have a conversation with them and not in a lab.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So why'd you pick your major?
So way to throw me under the bus. I also chose forensic science because I took a forensic science class in high school. You guys, can you believe it?
It's not an original experience.
Jinx. Anyway.
Knock on wood.
What are we doing?
I don't know. I never do
that. Anyway. So, yeah, we are actually pretty similar in that we took forensic science classes in high school, and we were like, wow, that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. And so I applied for forensic science. I got super into it. I started watching, as soon as I decided that's what I wanted my major to be, I started watching all of the shows. You know, you had CSI, you had the show Forensic Files, you had Forensics,
Bones,
the real CSI. If you're over in the UK, you had Bones. Yes, Bones. It was a show that I grew up on with my mother. She's never seen it.
I watched the first episode with you.
Yeah.
So
while I was procrastinating on studying
I
for
think
a
we
final.
were doing bio
in
the study room.
For a bio final in
library.
a study room in the library. So I chose forensics. I also didn't realize it was going to be so lab heavy, but as time went on, I was able to find a like niche interest that I know that I really want to go into and that I find super, super fascinating. And also because if I had majored in history, I don't think I would have been able to make any money. So we're sticking it out as a STEM major. the urge to switch majors was very, very strong freshman year, and now I'm too far into it. So here we are.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because people tell you could do anything. You can always just like change your career path. But like when they force you to pick something, you like unless like you know for a fact you want to do like something for the rest of your life, you don't realize that like you need a major that's going to get you a job. You know,
Yeah.
like you need like you can't just like history. I love music. That's like another topic, like history, music, but that's not going to get us a job for the rest of our lives. It's going to sustain you. But you can always do that on the side. Like you picked up a history minor, I picked up a music minor. You know, like it's still in our lives.
And also, it's like, you know, you can always change your major. You can always do this. You can always do that. And I think that that's great advice to an extent. However, people tend to forget that you're taking on thousands and thousands of dollars of student debt every time you stay at college for an extra semester. So if you say, oh, I want to switch my major, and that means I have to be at college a year longer, that means that you're taking out possibly $100,000 in student loans that year. So there's also that kind of thing where you need to pick something that, you know, your starting salary is going to give you at least something to start paying off those loans so you're not in crippling debt the rest of your life.
Yeah, unless you have like a full ride, which usually only lasts for 4 years though, so like the 1 extra year thing doesn't really apply. But if you're commuting and like you have the flexibility to do that like an extra year, like go ahead.
By all means.
We do not.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like April was saying, like you want something that's like gonna get you a good starting salary, and then if you want to go back for something else, like by all means, once you know have a stable like economic
once you have the means
system,
by all means go back and collect as many bachelor's degrees if you want,
and
if
masters.
You're pulling in 6 figures.
Get your PhD too.
Wow.
So like it kind of like comes back to like the school matters more than like your major, because like if the school has like good offers like for jobs or internships, or even like in your major, like if it's like really up there, like oh my gosh, like we know, oh my gosh, like what, like if you go to Yale, like you know you're gonna get something, then like go ahead, I guess, you know, have the connections.
If you have the top English program, or if you have the top pre-med program, absolutely, for sure, if that's what you know in your heart you want to do, 100% go there. If you're still indecisive, definitely go for more of a school that you love and you know that you're going to feel at home, and you're definitely like content being that distance away from home or that close to home. And, you know, it's just all about knowing you and what you want out of school.
Yeah, like people don't realize that like your location really like your school atmosphere really builds into that, because like if you have a good support system, like you can do like anything. Because like like personally, I don't live here like in the state, so like I traveled and I'm very close to my family, and like we're very close, like we not like we oh my gosh we do everything together, but like we've never been more than like a state apart. So like being here and not knowing anybody and not doing anything was like kind of scary. And personally, I'm not like oh I want to live in the city, but I want to live in the country as well. So like finding a school that's like right in the middle was like key. I didn't really do that, but like that's really important to understand. Like your major, you can just change. Like of course, if you thought about it and like you talk to people, talk to advisors, but like the school matters more than the major. And you can always, as long as you're in there,
to change your major than to transfer schools.
Like as much as we were saying, oh, you know, you got to pick a good major, you can always switch. Like you don't feel trapped, you know. Like as long as you're in the school, like it's harder. Yeah, it's harder to transfer than it is to switch your major, you know. So
and we're very different in the distances that we went away for school. I am 6.5-ish hours away from where I am from, and she's about 2.5.
Like 2 hours.
So she definitely stayed a bit closer to home. I did not. I knew basically from the minute I started looking at colleges, I wanted to go out of state. Just because like I kind of wanted to branch out and see what it would be like to kind of get that semi-independent life, but still be close enough that in the case of an emergency, I still had access to my parents and my family. Or, you know, if I needed to go home for a weekend, it was still feasible. It just wasn't as feasible as going home like on a random Tuesday, you know?
Yeah. And you don't really, I mean, if you're, like, I didn't really think about that, you know? Like, oh, I just want to come home for, like, a day. Like, I didn't really think that through, you know?
She definitely goes home
I do.
more often than I do.
It's funny because it's, like, in different, like, increments. Like, there will be, like, a month where I'm going home, like, every weekend because I have, like, prior commitments or, like, I need to do something. And then there'll be a month where I just, like, don't go home at all.
Yeah.
That was like February. It was like, or January.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then freshman year, I didn't go home until Thanksgiving.
That is crazy.
I skipped our fall break. I stayed on campus.
I couldn't. Freshman year, especially.
Yeah, first semester freshman year, I skipped fall break and stayed until Thanksgiving.
I don't know how you did it.
And it was really crazy because I didn't realize that the entire campus shut down, and you couldn't get on or off campus via campus transportation, and none of the dining halls were open. So that was a really interesting experience, and I did not do that again this year.
Little things you don't think about.
Yeah, like food.
Oh my gosh. I didn't think that we were going to be such a,
typical college.
Yeah, like everyone says it, it's college food, but like, I was like, yeah, whatever. No, they're serious.
It's really bad, actually. We about threw a party when we found out that we were going to be getting a dorm with a kitchen this year. We were very relieved.
Honestly, like, I'm pretty sure what saved us so, context, completely forgot. We've been rooming for 2 years. Unfortunately, we will not be together next year.
I am branching out and moving off campus. She is staying here because she's actually staying for a master's.
Yeah.
So she has to stay on campus or she won't get housing for that program.
Yeah.
So fear not, we will be coming at you from a different filming location.
Yeah.
When all of that happens. So it'll be probably a lot more quiet and like more aesthetic.
Yes.
So,
oh my gosh, it won't just be like a bland wall.
Well,
the lights are cute, right?
And our Christmas decorations that we haven't taken down, and it's April 11th at the time of recording.
The Christmas tree. You don't see the tree over there.
The Christmas tree and the stockings, but they're there.
And the Christmas lights over there.
Yeah. So
it's okay. Yeah. It gives the room aesthetics. Like, I don't know.
It makes it feel homey.
Yeah.
Anyway, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We have been rooming for 2 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway,
Domino's saved us. I think we could say that
lives.
Because we literally ordered from them so much. Like we had with our other roommate, we had like Domino pizza parties and movie nights. Like that was the saving grace.
We ended up getting. I got a cheap projector off of Amazon for like $20. And a shower curtain, just a white shower curtain, and we command hooked it to the wall, and we would have movie nights like once a week where we just got Domino's pizza and we watched whatever movie was out. So yeah, definitely didn't think we were going to be stereotypical college kids until this year when we were like, I'm so glad I can eat food.
Yeah. I think it's just like that's not an original experience, and I think very important to say that because there are some schools that will like fake it, like put out a front.
Oh yeah,
which I've heard like from other friends. Did that. I think so. I mean, kinda.
We came to open house and they picked the best.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
The best menus to serve to people on that day, and they made it seem like we had a lot of options when we really do not.
Yeah.
But I think that if anybody is watching and they're like looking at colleges, that's just something to know. No matter where you go, the food's gonna suck. So really I wouldn't really factor the food into your decision at all. You're going to in your freshman year live off frozen TV dinners and takeout.
Cup of noodles, pasta.
And you just gotta embrace it. It's part of the college experience. And it honestly, a lot of people think that, well, if a school is more expensive, then the food is going to be more expensive.
Mm.
But to be honest, I've heard that Ivy League schools are almost worse with their
I heard that
food.
too. Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy. We do not go to an Ivy League.
No.
Woo! Don't have that brain power.
I'm not that smart. Come on, guys.
But then again, I don't know if an Ivy is even worth it, TBH.
At this point, with the job market.
Right, we're currently in a hiring freeze, so I don't necessarily know that any school would be worth it. But definitely still go get your degree. I'm not saying don't get your degree.
You don't need to go to an Ivy to get a good job. You know,
Yeah.
you just need to know. And if your school has a name in that area, that's like perfect. I think, like, you know, for med school, just go to the place that has the cheapest like path to go to med school. Because like, you go to med school, you're gonna be a nurse or a doctor, depending on like, what you want to do. Like, you're gonna get there somehow. It's like, don't go to like the other side of the country and pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a medical degree that you can get like as a commuter right next to your house or to your town. So it's like, you just gotta be aware of your options, you know?
Yeah. I don't think that I've ever seen an Ivy League where I've been like, man, I really wish I went there. And fun fact, we're not telling you where we go to school, but we do go to school like relatively close to an Ivy League school. So we do get like access to some of their
God. It's so funny.
Yeah. So we do go to school fairly close to an Ivy school. We get access to all of their public resources. I have not gone.
You do?
Yeah, we get access to the museums and the libraries and stuff. They're public. Yeah, we haven't gone. I hear that it's great, but definitely it's something to note. If your school is in a neighboring town to an Ivy League school, definitely just take advantage of the fact that most of their stuff, their libraries are free, you know, their museums are free. If they have art, their art is free. So like,
yeah, take advantage
of it.
Yeah.
So that's another way to kind of like, there's a little college hack for you.
And speaking of taking advantages that you get in college, your school account can get you a bunch of like free or cheaper subscriptions.
That's true.
Like Spotify Premium, Amazon Prime, Hulu.
Hulu does have a student discount. Max has a student discount. What else do I have?
Like, think of everything.
We have free access to the New York Times.
Yeah.
So if you're so inclined, you get free access to that.
If you want to read them.
If you want to read the news, you know.
That's your cup of tea.
So, yeah, definitely there are some great services that offer student discounts. One that doesn't, that I found really weird, was the fact that Netflix doesn't and never has offered a student discount. And you would think that because their prices keep going up, that it would be really good PR for them. But but pretty much every service under the sun, there's some variation that has a student discount.
Yeah. So make sure you know what you're getting.
And while we're on the topic of discounts, Chegg, stay away from it.
Yeah.
That is a money pit, and everybody and their mother will try to tell you that Chegg is the best place to get your books and your homework help. It's not really. Just honestly.
Do it, because you're gonna need to know your like.
Yeah.
Like I have like at first I was like, oh yeah, like, you know, we get exams online. Eventually your teachers are gonna do everything on paper, like old school paper. Especially if you get the core like your core major classes. Just learn or try.
Just try.
You know?
And pretty much every college also offers like on-site tutoring.
Yeah.
Try to find a tutor that you mesh with.
Yeah. It's not an embarrassing thing to do.
Yeah.
We've been tutoring.
We've been to tutoring. We actually went to tutoring together because we were both like really struggling in the same class.
What was it, chemistry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not a chem major. For anybody wondering, I am a forensic science biology concentration.
Yeah.
And I cannot wait to be done with chemistry.
I hate chemistry.
I hate chemistry.
And I also went for calculus help too. Because
math is hard.
Sorry.
In the words of that really one controversial Barbie, math is hard. That was the girl talk Barbie.
Oh my god. It's like, who?
That's okay.
Which Barbie?
If anybody out there got that reference, I applaud you. I fell down the Barbie rabbit hole in 2023, like so many of us. So, yeah.
What do you mean 2023? You mean now too? It's still there. You're still in there. We have to say we just watched like 2 Barbie movies back to back.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be for another.
Yeah, stay tuned. We'll talk all about the Barbie Renaissance era.
Oh,
Oops.
really?
Cling.
Oh,
Cling.
I was like, what happened? Cut this. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say. I don't want to take up too much time. I'm not really sure how much time that took. I had more, but like
we have time if you have more. Because I just realized that we got to cut like an entire 20 minutes out of the beginning because it was just us giggling trying to do the intro. So
that's kind of funny though. We might post in the bloopers.
Yeah,
you might see those.
Follow us on social media.
Yeah,
I'll make sure to like throw some
Instagram
somewhere.
TikToks.
Yeah, we're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Facebook. If you're on Facebook,
that was not my idea.
That might be for the above 30 crowd. So. But if you are, it just is. I don't know very many 20-year-olds that are just scrolling on Facebook. But if you are, give us a follow. We have a page. Do we have any other socials?
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
No, yeah,
that's it.
But yeah, definitely stay tuned for those bloopers.
Yeah.
We get very unhinged.
Yeah. We'll just end up in a laughing cycle for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And
I really apologize because I have a very high-pitched laugh.
I don't know how that's going to sound with the microphones. I laugh loudly so like...
I will be toning down the laughs. Don't worry.
Okay.
In post. So.
Yeah.
All right. Did you have something else you wanted to add?
I mean...
What else has happened recently? We just went through registration.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
At our university. So
we registered on different days for university reasons.
Yes.
And it's so funny because we wake up early for that. You know, be the first ones. That's kind of like also like another tip. Like be the first. Like it's gonna be early, but like be the first ones because you want your stuff. Like if you're early to registration, you get to pick the teacher, you get to pick the times, you get to pick the classes that are not full, you know what I mean? So like
I cannot emphasize how much you will regret sleeping in on a registration day.
You think because of high school you're gonna do great at 8 a.m.s. You are not going to do great at 8 a.m.s. I'm telling you right now.
I am telling you that if they open registration at 6 a.m., get up and be there at 6 a.m.
Yep.
You can go back to bed afterwards.
Yeah.
I did.
I did too.
If you were, yeah.
Okay. It took a few minutes, but the adrenaline.
We had to wait for the adrenaline to wear off, but yeah. And yeah, so we did registration, and registration is very much a dog fight.
Yeah.
So I cannot emphasize to you enough how much it is worth building a schedule. Building a backup schedule, building a backup schedule, put those in a tier list and say, well, if I can't get into one of these, I'm switching to this schedule. And if I can't get into that one, I'm switching to this schedule.
Literally make a tier list.
It's so worth it.
Yeah.
Because I was not able to get into my first choice classes. I ended up with an 8 a.m. And that's something that hasn't happened since my first semester freshman year because I had first semester 8 a.m. math. And I don't know if anyone out there is a calculus person, but calculus at 8 a.m., it's rough. So that's also a thing with freshmen. If you don't get to build your schedule your first semester, you're just going to have to suck it up.
Some of my friends that were freshmen got to build their own schedule in the summer. And they had no idea what classes they were doing.
So I was it really does depend on what school you go to. Yeah. If you get an assigned schedule and you get no 8 a.m.s, how does it feel to live my dream? Literally. Honestly. But yeah, I would just say that freshman year, it's rough. You're probably going to end up in 8 a.m.s. You might develop a caffeine addiction. I definitely did. And then I had to stop drinking energy drinks for my own well-being.
We might have to make a whole episode on
caffeine,
on energy drinks and how bad they are for you.
They are.
Do not fall for that trap.
And they're so
I'm serious.
expensive. And for what?
I'm so serious. And you will feel horrible.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially once the semester ends. Once you realize, hey, this doesn't last forever. And then you're going to need caffeine at 11 o'clock p.m. when you're in your house, like on a Christmas day. Like,
right, exactly.
Don't even get started with the caffeine addiction if you can.
But yeah, as far as registration goes, it is the monster that will loom over your entire college experience.
Yeah.
And
housing registrations. But
yes.
That's a whole nother story.
That will be its own thing once you have gone through that, I think.
Yeah.
Or potentially in the first episode of
the
Autopsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
any registration tips from you?
Wake up early, like we said. The double, triple schedule backups, perfect, because you never know. Especially especially as a freshman, you will be getting into like basic English, history, math, science. Everyone's gonna be getting into this, so you really need to like get on that. And like it's like somewhat of a unoriginal experience. Like everyone goes through this. That sometimes their advisors are not the best. So
reach out, peers,
yeah.
Find people that have gone through it.
Upperclassmen, like just ask. It might feel embarrassing, but like seriously, just ask anyone, because you need to like get good advice on even like teachers. Rate my professor, like just because sometimes there's some teachers that teach in different ways. This might be like a whole other episode, but like there might be different teaching styles. Like I know my teaching styles at this point. Like how I learn best. And
some people just don't mesh with that, and that's okay.
And it's fine. It's not like a bad thing. Like, so you have to sometimes be careful with Rate My Professor, because like anyone can just comment and like talk about it. But like you really have to like know yourself, and that will come with time. I didn't know in high school at all what my teaching style was,
or what my study habits were going to be.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I had to learn how to study in college.
But yeah, definitely. And with registration, I caution anybody who is a STEM major. Any of you out there, you are going to hit a point where you are thinking, oh, I'm just going to do math and science, and that's it this semester. And then I'll take all of the easy peasy, like communications, English, history, all of my humanities. I'm going to do that all in one semester. I'm going to get the hard stuff out of the way first. I cannot tell you enough. You will burn yourself out.
Yes. And we're going to be talking about that later.
But I cannot express to you enough how quickly and how hard you will burn out if you do that. So, and that will definitely be coming when we have a more sit-down conversation about burnout.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so yeah, that's like a little introduction into almost like all the topics we'll be talking about. We're gonna get more, of course, but like, yeah.
And when can we expect the next episode of Autopsy to come out?
After your episode, which we're gonna transition into, because Avery's episode is gonna be the first one, and this is gonna be a good segue into your topics.
And the next episode of college. Talking and the autopsy of an academic weapon. Catch it in 2 weeks. It'll be a full-length episode of just autopsy.
I'm gonna have to talk for an hour.
Bye. We'll see you in my section. Let me just transition into my thing. This is gonna have a lot of cut that out because Avery can't read and she's basically illiterate.
Not true. You're the one helping me figure like big words. Like synonyms for my posts.
Yeah. Okay. So, hi everybody.
Hello.
We are now going to jump into the show that I will be the primary host of. That's right. We are talking, Am I the Scoundrel?
Ooh.
Does that question sound familiar?
We don't know if we could say the original.
It might. You might have heard some little reading Reddit stories, tales from the dark sides of Reddit.
AITS.
AITAH is the original, or AITA. We have changed it to AITS. Am I the Scoundrel?
Do that in my head.
Well, why'd you do that? It wasn't just to keep things PG-13. It is because we're doing the Reddit stories with a twist. Mm-hmm. So on this show, we are doing Reddit stories that I have written from the perspective of historical figures.
Woo! Original idea!
Yeah, so we're going to be reading it. I will be reading it from the perspective of a historical character. I'm going to give Isabella some context, read her out the story. We're going to get her takes. She'll give you more of a modern take. Are they the scoundrel?
Yeah.
And I will be here to provide any historical context that we need. And then at the end, I am going to ask Isabella if she has any idea who wrote the story.
Just so you know, I'm pretty sure my portion will be first in this episode. I do not dive. That's it. I'm not really like a history buff, so I'm taking history as a junior instead of as a freshman. So,
and I am a history minor.
Yes. So this is gonna be fun. Please do not hate on me if I do not know the people or the times.
We are very, very polar ends of the roommate scale. I said, "Hey, I'm picking up a history minor," and she said, "Ugh."
So, history is very important. Please learn history so we don't repeat it.
History. Ooh, hot take.
Sorry, guys.
All right, so we are going to jump into our first and only story today because if you noticed a weird cut, our recording stopped. So we are now going to retake that with a new story because we don't redo reactions here. You get authentic reactions.
Hopefully that story comes out though.
Yeah. So let us know if you would be interested in getting this podcast on Spotify maybe sometime in the future, and or if you just want that to be a special little nugget of an episode.
It's only audio. So.
Yeah, maybe put it in a short or something. Let us know. All right, let's dive into the first story.
Okay.
All right, so our time here, little conspicuous, just know that it is very early on in the Common Era.
Okay,
here we go. Would I be the scoundrel for declaring war on a god?
Okay. Wow, we are starting off strong.
All right, so long story short, my army threatened to mutiny when we were invading another country. Okay. So my solution, declare war on a god. I want to declare war on, can we guess who? Neptune. That's right, guys. We're declaring war on the god
the planet?
of the sea.
Oh.
Okay. So we're in ancient Rome. Guys.
Planets still haven't been discovered.
My bad. We're in ancient Rome. And I promise in the future the stories are going to be better written out. This is us really trying to pull one out of thin air because, like we said, recording issues. But we are recording, and we're asking, would we be the scoundrel for declaring war on the god of the sea?
Oh, that's it. No. Oh, sorry. With more context.
Now, my army was trying to invade France, but they were very, very, very angry with me.
Okay.
Would I be the scoundrel for trying to keep the peace and declaring war on a god?
Well,
that's the end of the story. That's
okay. Okay. So, okay. Can you repeat the context, like as to why
we're declaring war?
Yes.
Okay. We're trying to invade France.
Okay.
Okay. My army is saying, "Nuh-uh, I'm not doing it."
Okay.
And if you try to make me do it, I am going to disobey you, and we're basically going to overthrow you.
Okay.
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 I'm trying to keep the peace. So instead of invading and launching a full-scale war on like actual people and actual armies where actual people are going to fight back, I'm saying, would I be the scoundrel for declaring war on the god of the sea instead?
I wonder why the god of the sea was involved in the first place.
Would it help if I told you we're coming from ancient Rome and we're trying to invade France?
Like, through the sea?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So,
I would say yes, he's the scoundrel. Because, like, I don't know where he got Neptune from. I just don't see the connection to France. I don't know if I'm missing something. I'm not history buff.
Yeah.
But in my head, like, if his people say we don't want to attack the people, we don't. Yeah, we should. Okay, well, he's avoiding the people, right? So he doesn't want to attack people. So maybe he's not the scoundrel because he's still thinking about the people. He's not doing anything technically wrong. But he's trying to declare war on a god of ancient Rome. God, right? Okay, so
big enough they named a whole planet after him.
Like 2,000 years later. Okay. So 2,000 years later, yeah. I think. Okay. I still want to say. Okay, actually, I want to say he is the scoundrel, but he ultimately didn't initiate war on the people of France, or he did.
But that was his plan.
That was his plan.
That was his plan.
But then he said no because he listened to his army.
He's saying no because they're threatening to overthrow him. So, like, am I the scoundrel for then making all these men fight against a god?
I would say yes, because his intentions were solely because he didn't want the people to overthrow him. Okay. But it's like a little pass because then he doesn't attack the people.
Okay, so it's a soft you're a scoundrel.
Yeah, like it's like you're a scoundrel, but like it's
fine. You could be worse.
Yeah, you could be worse.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Are we ready for the update?
Yeah.
That's right, guys. With every story on Am I the Scoundrel, because it is written in the lens of history, there is always an update. Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
He did it. He declared war on Neptune.
How did that fight go? I'm very curious.
He commanded the army. I commanded the army.
Oh, yeah, right.
To attack the sea and take back seashells and pearls as spoils of war. So, not only did we declare war, we won. That's right, you guys. We won the war against a god.
The sea. So you're telling me every time I take a seashell from the ocean, I'm fighting a battle with the sea.
Yeah. And we held a victory parade.
We did?
Yeah, we held a victory parade for the triumph against Neptune.
Romans.
Yeah. Romans. You want to guess which emperor this was?
Of Rome?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this might have to be cut if it's really stupid.
Just name
Julius
any.
Caesar? Is he? Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Leave that in. Okay. Continue. Yeah, Julius Caesar.
No.
Is it still a stupid?
It was
again
Emperor Caligula.
I have no idea who that is.
He was very, very, very commonly thought, especially in the modern lens, to have been mad. He was a little cuckoo bananas. And after he won the war against Neptune, they built a lighthouse. They built a lighthouse on the coast of France, and a lot of people have said, well, that was just him building the lighthouse so that he could come back and later invade France. Unfortunately, he didn't get the chance to do that. However, there was a quote in a what's the word? Biography. There is a quote in one of his biographies that says You won't cross the ocean to expand the glory of the Roman Empire, then you shall have your victory over Neptune and over his terrifying forces, the shells of the sea. That's right. He got mocked.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. If his Reddit post would have a lot of hate comments. I'm just saying.
Gosh, yeah.
Like you're crazy.
You're insane.
Collecting seashells.
That's some SDE right there. If you don't know what that means, go ask your mother. Or your
an
children.
Accent there.
Yeah.
You did a little accent.
Sorry.
Was that Southern accent? Or was that a
I
British
don't know.
accent? I don't know.
Maybe a Boston. I don't know.
Boston.
All right, guys. So that is our intro story. A little chaotic.
Yeah.
Again, we had some recording issues. But if you want to see the true format of Am I the Scoundrel, check back in next week because the first full-length episode of Am I the Scoundrel will be dropping, that's right, next Monday, a week from today as of this episode going live. So that's very exciting. And then check back in a week later because the first full-length episode of
The Autopsy of an Academic Weapon will be out the week after Am I the Scoundrel?
Yeah.
It's working. It's working overtime, though.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
Follow us on socials if you are so inclined. And let us know down below. Do we start a Spotify? Do you want that unrecorded, unreleased clip? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. And I hope we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.